the prophetic tongue. The prophetic tongue is an expression of the gift that's used inside of a church assembly. Now, in those days in the Corinthian church, it was probably around 50 people inside of a home. So it wasn't a large gathering like this right here. And so when they got together, each of them would bring maybe a song, maybe a teaching, maybe a revelation. Someone would speak in tongues, which was a heavenly message to them, a prophetic message. But listen to this, there was an interpreter, an interpretation of tongues that was given to the whole body so that everybody understood what the speaker was saying. So it wasn't just somebody was standing up and babbling and nobody knew what was going on. Everybody was like, oh, look at that guy, he's super spiritual. No, it was the guy stood up. Maybe it sounded like babble, it sounded like some kind of language. They didn't understand it, but this guy or girl stood up over here and said, here's what the Lord just said through this, my brother, my sister, blah, 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 and said what he said. This kind of tongue, this prophetic language, when it's given in a church service, it must be in order. So for example, while I'm preaching and you stand up and you start babbling, that's not in order. If anyone speaks and then he says this, he gives some rules. Isn't this amazing? If anyone speaks in a tongue, 2 or 3 at the most should speak. What was happening in the early Corinthian church is they were just popping up all over the assembly, 50 of them. If 30 of them had a message in tongues, they were popping up. Maybe they didn't even have an interpreter. And they were building themselves up in front of people instead of building the church up.